So yeah, basically friends end up blowing off their other friends. You know, they usually never talk to them ever again, and you know, when they do, they always say they're busy or something. You know, it's like, I don't have time for you anymore. But you know what? You know, if you're going to hang out with the popular YouTubers and just blow your friend off, maybe you should just tell them, you know, I'm not really interested in being a friend. You know, I'm not interested in having a friendship with you anymore. I'm sorry, I just don't feel like being friends with you maybe anymore. I don't know. Maybe it's something you can it's something to consider, I guess, just throwing that out there. You know, because people just get upset after a while when, you know, they try to work on a friendship and it's just a one-sided friendship and the other friend does not help out with the friendship. You know, if you're going to have a friendship, it should be like 50% on each side working. You know, it shouldn't be 100% on one side where one friend's trying to totally make the friendship possible and the other just doesn't want it. Now personally, what I do is if there's a person that, you know, doesn't want to talk to me anymore, I usually just move on and I just focus on the friends that will talk to me. So you know what? You know, it does suck that you're losing friends, I guess. Like, you know, you've been friends with this guy for a long time and then he just starts blowing you off for some unknown reason, or maybe he eventually will tell you. But you know what? There's plenty of people on YouTube that you can become friends with. You know, there's a wide variety of people. So you know what? It is a disappointment that your friendship is going to end over YouTube popularity, perhaps. But you know what? Just focus. You know, just always focus on the people that give you attention and that like you for who you are. You know, just try to keep that in mind. Another interesting thing about certain popular YouTube users are they seem to be afraid of certain types of words. Okay, for instance, they often seem to be afraid of the words hypocrite, they're afraid of the word ego, they're afraid of the word arrogant, and they're afraid of the words you're taking the internet too seriously. These guys, you know, if they're accused of this, they will just flat out deny it, and sometimes they will overreact in such a, like, they will just blow it out of proportion like it's one of the worst things in the world there is. And I can honestly say, at one time or another, all those words have applied to me at some time. And you know, if you really want me to go into detail, you know, just ask me in the comments. I can, you know, I will not lie. You know, I can admit I've taken the internet seriously before. I've had an ego. I've been a little bit arrogant. You know, I've thought of myself pretty highly before. You know, it happens. You know, like I've said before in part 1, you know, when you get a lot of praise on your videos, it tends to make you act that way a little bit. And yeah, once again, all those words I mentioned, I'm losing my words here. All the words that I mentioned before, I can apply myself to at one time or another. Although I can probably safely say that I have not gone, you know, ape shit crazy, or, you know, I haven't had like an extremely huge ego. But here's the thing with the popular YouTube users though, they are just incredibly afraid of those terminology. They're afraid of that terminology, and they just go crazy. And you know, if they're accused of it, you know, people have been accused of these words, and not only will they make a video response, but once again, they'll make a video just trash talking you, or sometimes they'll even make a parody video, you know, as like an excuse to get you back, but they're just using the excuse as a parody. It's like as a way to hide that it's like a hate video or something, or as a video against you. Yeah, it's another thing I noticed. They're just afraid of the words ego, arrogant, hypocrite, and taking the internet seriously. There really is nothing wrong with those words if it doesn't affect you that much. You know, only if it's minor instances. You know, if you have a little bit of an ego every now and then, you think a little bit high and mighty of yourself, at minor times, there's nothing wrong with that. You know, there's nothing wrong with feeling high and mighty and feeling great about yourself sometimes. It's just that when you think about it that way all the time, that's when it becomes a problem. Because, yeah, you know, if you have a huge ego and you just think you're like the best thing on YouTube, you can't every time you get criticism or constructive criticism or anything, you just deny that you don't need to follow it. They'll say inappropriate stuff like "fuck you, asshole." Don't tell me how to make videos and stuff. And these guys, these viewers will not even insult them. They will just comment really nice and proper and civilly. They're not out. They're not out of line or anything. Okay, so basically a recap. A good majority of popular YouTuber users are afraid of those types of words, and when they're accused of them, they will not even admit in the slightest or smallest ways that those words apply to them at all. Usually, almost like they're trying to pass them off, almost like they're trying to pass themselves off as like perfect people, and that these words never have affected them in any time or any moment. And not only, once again, it's just a recap I'm saying here. Like, they will just flat out deny it, and not only will they deny it, but they will just act really inappropriate. They'll insult that person that's accused them of it. They might even end up making a video response, just to further insult them, and they usually don't even defend themselves on how these words don't apply to them, and they just act in a really irrational way, an irrational and out of line manner. Alright, now a total recap of what I've said in this rant. Basically, there's nothing wrong with YouTube popularity, but once again, it's gotten to some people so much that it causes them to act like royal jerks, royal assholes. They won't admit that they make mistakes every now and then. It seems like they try to pass themselves off as perfect. They seem to think because they're popular they can just make any rules they want, because they have more subscribers than this person or whatnot. Popular YouTubers start hanging out with other popular YouTubers, and when they first started out, they sometimes reject some of their oldest friends that they once had when they first came to YouTube. They blow them off completely. They don't give them any reason for why this is. They don't even talk to them like once a month or like ever again, and when they do, they just ignore them. They say they're busy and they don't even have time to spare like 5 minutes to talk to them. They're basically afraid of the words I've mentioned before and will just flat out deny it and act in irrational behavior. They'll just have really irrational behavior, and they'll just overreact. And sometimes they'll make a video response just bashing that person rather than proving how the words don't apply to them, and they just get completely off subject, and they just want to make that person look bad, I guess, almost as like a way to distract that these words do not apply to them or something. And then, a lot of their followers are just, a lot of followers to these popular YouTubers are just little ass kissers, it seems. Not all are, but, a good majority are ass kissers and total suck-ups. They will just instantly believe what a popular YouTuber says usually. They won't, if a popular YouTuber is against a smaller YouTube user, they usually will never believe the small YouTube user because, the popular YouTuber is more popular. And I don't know what it is. They just seem to believe the more popular YouTubers, the more popular YouTube user, and they don't even consider looking at the whole story or both views. And popular YouTubers also take advantage of their fans sometimes, not always. Dedicated fans will do so much for popular YouTube users sometimes, and they won't even say thank you or anything. They won't show that they appreciate it or anything. And then eventually, sometimes, they will even treat their dedicated fans like total shit. There was a friend that did so much for this one popular YouTube user, and then one day he got mad at him, and he sent a bunch of friends to harass him. And this dedicated fan of his did so much for him. I think he checked his email account. He deleted like spam and blocked nasty people and stuff, and like I don't even think he got as much as like a simple thank you at least one time. It's just And then he got mad at his dedicated. The YouTube user got mad at his dedicated fan, and he just sent a bunch of his friends to harass him on Skype. And it's like, wow, you're not even the least bit thankful for him, like watching over your account and stuff. Dedicated fans will do so much for that YouTube user until they're finally treated like absolute shit. Then they finally see that this person is an asshole and that they shouldn't be worshiping this guy anymore, and that he's not worth their friendship. Because you shouldn't let a YouTube user treat you like trash. If you do that, fuck them and move on. Well, I think this is all I have to say on this matter, and I don't want to make this a three-part rant. To all the popular YouTube users, if you're watching this, take some of this up into consideration so that you don't end up becoming like these types of people, because you usually end up becoming really hated for this. My words were pretty scrambled today. I was repeating myself. I apologize for that. It's been a while since I ranted, so I guess I'm pretty rusty with it.